Hey guys, welcome back. I want to talk to you today about AI romance scams because I think artificial intelligence is about to change online dating in a way most people are not ready for. And I don't want this to sound like a news report. I want to talk to you today like I'm talking to a friend. If you've been watching this channel, especially the 4 interviews we have done with romance scam victims, then you already know that we've been trying to put a dent in this whole romance scam situation. We've been trying to educate people. We've been trying to show the patterns. And think about this. Just the 4 victims we interviewed, the interviews that we've done here on Dating to Win, their total losses, in other words, the total amount of money that was stolen from them was $2.4 million. Wow, that's 4 people over $2.4 million. And this is not some random statistic. This is from the stories we've already covered right here on Dating to Win. So yes, I do think we are helping people. I do think these interviews matter. I do think every victim brave enough to speak may save someone else from going through the same thing. But here's what worries me. Just as people are starting to understand the old romance scam playbook, AI is making the scams more polished, more personal, and more believable. The older scams had tells. The stories sounded familiar. The excuses started piling up. They avoided meeting in person. They avoided video. And something felt a little off. But AI changes the feel of the scam. Now the messages can be well written. The conversation can feel personal. The profile photo may not be stolen from anyone else because the face may have been created for your specific scam. The voice may sound convincing, the video may lower your guard, and the emotional connection may feel real enough to make a smart person second guess their own judgment. This is where this is going. AI is not just making fake pictures. AI is making fake people feel believable. And that is a completely very different problem than we've ever had to deal with before. I was thinking about this in kind of a strange way. Years ago, when radio first became powerful in American homes, Orson Welles did his famous War of the Worlds broadcast. It aired kind of in a news bulletin fashion. It sounded urgent. It sounded real. And some people listening actually believed that we were under attack from aliens. Now, historians debate how much panic really happened on that specific night. Some of the story may have been a little exaggerated, but the lesson is still important. When new forms of media become trusted, and then that media is used to make something fictional sound real, people can be shaken by it. They can believe it, not because they're stupid, because the format feels trustworthy. And that's what scares me about AI and online dating. For years, we told people, don't just trust the photos. Ask for a video call. That was our safety rule. If they avoided video, that's a red flag. If they wouldn't show their face, that was a red flag. And that advice made sense for a long time. But now I'm not sure that advice is enough anymore. Because if AI can fake the face, fake the voice, and fake the video, they can fake the emergency and even write the love messages, then what exactly are people supposed to trust? And that is the question I want to sit with today. And it's a bigger question than romance scams. It's a question about online dating itself. If AI becomes so convincing, so realistic, and so emotionally intelligent that people cannot tell what is real and what is not, does online dating survive? Or does it push us back to something closer to how we dated in the 1980s and the 1990s, where we met people through friends, or we met people at church functions, at work, at social events, or at the gym? In other words, we met people through real life circles where someone actually knows somebody. Maybe that sounds old-fashioned, but maybe old-fashioned is about to become valuable again. Because before dating apps, you usually met someone with at least some connection to the real world. Someone knew them. Someone had seen them. Someone could vouch for them and say, hey, he's a great guy or she's a great girl. There was at least some kind of human reference point. Online dating has changed all that. It opened the door to meeting people anywhere. And that can be good, but it can also open a door to strangers with no history, no accountability, no shared circles, and now possibly no real identity at all. Before we go further, if this channel has helped you or someone you care about recognize a dangerous relationship, a dating scam, or a situation that just didn't feel right, you can support this show with a super thanks. It helps me keep making these warnings and bringing these stories to light. And this one matters because I believe AI is going to make romance scams more believable than anything that we have ever seen before. Now, let me give you an example. There was a woman named Abigail who resided in Los Angeles. She believed she was communicating with Steve Burton. You know Steve Burton, the actor from General Hospital? Now, I know what some people may think. They may hear celebrity scam and immediately say, how could someone believe that? But I want you to slow down here, because that reaction is exactly why victims stay quiet. In Abigail's case, this was not just someone sending pictures. According to the reporting from ABC7 in Los Angeles, the scammer sent her deep fake videos that appeared to show Steve Burton, the actor from General Hospital, speaking to her. Now, her daughter saved one of these videos, and AI experts reviewed it and said it was likely made using software that cloned his image and his voice exactly. And that's the part that should bother all of us. The video was not proof that the person was real. The video was the trap. Abigail reportedly sent more than $81,000 through gifts, cards, cash, Bitcoin. Then she sold her condo for $350,000, and thank God at that point her daughter stepped in before any of the money from the proceeds of the sale of their house could have been given away. Now, just sit with that for a second. A video that was supposed to prove the relationship was real helped make the scam feel more believable. That is the new danger here. And this is not only happening with celebrities. There was a retired lecturer in Scotland named Nikki McLeod. She was 77 years old. She was educated. She was skeptical. She was not some person who never questioned anything. But she was pulled into a deepfake romance scam involving a fake woman named Alla Morgan. She was sent videos. She was shown documents. She was shown a fake bank account. And eventually, she said she was completely convinced that Alla was a real person. That phrase matters. She was completely convinced, because this is what AI can do. It can layer the scam. It can give the victim one piece of fake proof after another: a face, a voice, a document, a bank account, a video story, a crisis. And when enough pieces line up emotionally, the victim starts to think, nah, this has to be real. I've seen too much proof here. But when the proof is manufactured, the whole safety system starts to break down. That is the part that changes everything. Now, there was also a man in Chicago area who went by the name of Grant Trust. He met a woman named Kay on Facebook dating. Now, they talked every day. They FaceTimed almost daily. He saw her face. He heard her voice. He believed that he had built a real connection with this person, Kay. But Kay wasn't real. Eventually, she introduced him to what looked like a great trading opportunity. Sound familiar? So he started small. He even was able to withdraw money at first and was making a profit, so it felt so legitimate to him. Then he invested more, and he took out a loan. And in the end, this gentleman lost $70,000. Now, what bothers me about this story is that he thought he was doing the right things. He was not just reading messages. He was not just looking at still photos. He was seeing video. He was hearing her voice. He was talking regularly. And normally those things do help build trust. It's how we're wired. But AI is attacking the very things we use to decide whether someone is real. A face, a voice, a routine, a conversation, a feeling of connection. This is why I don't like when people say, how could anyone fall for this? Because that is too easy. The better question is, or the real question is, what kind of proof would make any of us believe? A picture, a phone call, a video call, daily attention, a person who says everything that you've been waiting to hear. And it's important that you understand that scammers are not always trying to fool you in one moment. They are trying to wear down your doubt over time. And AI makes that easier. Now, there was a case in France that I'm sure a lot of you have heard about. It was with a woman named Anne. Now, Anne believed that she was in a relationship with Brad Pitt, the actor. Again, some people would hear that and they want to laugh. But I think laughing at victims is one of the worst things that we can do, because the scam was not simply, hello, I'm Brad Pitt, send money. It was more layered than that. There was fake social media accounts. There were AI generated images, and someone was even pretending to be Brad Pitt's mother. There were fake romantic messages, a fake illness, a fake hospital style photo, a fake emotional world built around the victim. And she lost 80,000 euros. Then after the story became public, she was mocked so badly online that the TV segment about her was pulled down. That is another cruelty inside these scams. The victims lose the money. The victim loses the relationship they thought they had. The victim loses trust in their own judgment, and then the public humiliates them. And that shame is exactly what scammers count on. They want the victim to stay quiet. They want the victim to hide from family. They want the victim to say, no one will understand. And once the victim is isolated, the scammer can control the story. So let's bring this back to a bigger point. I believe these interviews have mattered. I believe the victims who have come forward have helped protect so many other people. But now we have to be honest. The scams are evolving, and AI may make them more realistic than ever. The old advice was, do a reverse image search, but AI can create a face that never existed. The old advice was, ask for a video call, but deepfake technology can make that complicated. The old advice was, listen to their voice, but voices can be cloned. The old advice was, trust your gut, but emotional manipulation is designed to confuse your gut. So what do? Do we just give up on online dating? I don't know. I really don't. I'm not saying online dating is over tomorrow. People are still going to use it. People are still going to meet people online. There are still good people on dating sites and dating apps. But I do think AI may force us to rethink the whole thing. Maybe the future of dating is not endless texting with strangers. Maybe the future is getting back to real life faster. Meet in public, meet sooner, verify through real-world connections. Stop building entire emotional relationships with someone that you've never met or never sat across from. Maybe the dating strategies of the 80s and 90s start to make sense again. Not because everything was better back then, because trust me, it wasn't, but because dating had more real-world accountability. You met people through people. You saw how they acted in public. You knew where they worked. You knew who they knew. There was a world that was surrounding them. Online, a scammer can build that world from scratch, and AI can make it look very believable. This is why the new rule has to be stronger. If you have not met them in person, please do not send money. Do not send gift cards. Do not send cryptocurrency. Don't do a bank transfer, and don't sign out a loan for them. Don't help them with medical bills. Don't help them in any way possible. I don't care what the emergency is. I don't care whose account is frozen. And honestly, even after you meet someone, money should never become the foundation of the relationship. A real person who loves you will not ask you to destroy your finances. A real person who loves you will not ask you to lie to your children. A real person who loves you will not ask you to keep secrets from your family, and a real person who loves you will not ask you to sell your home and turn the proceeds over to them. Love should not begin with a wire transfer. Love should not begin with a secret. Love should not begin with a crisis, and love should not require you to have to rescue someone that you've never met before. And here's something else I want to say. If you are lonely, that does not make you weak. If you want love, that doesn't make you foolish. If someone fooled you, that does not mean that you're stupid. It means someone studied the human heart and used technology to exploit it. Plain and simple, that's the truth. AI did not create the loneliness, and AI did not create grief. It did not create hope. but AI gives scammers a sharper weapon, and we have to update how we are going to protect ourselves. So maybe this is the question that we need to ask. If AI can make a person look real, sound real, make them write, make them converse with us, create a video that makes them seem believable, how much of online dating can we still trust? And will that force people back into the real world, back to single events, back to community, back to church groups, back to clubs, back to actually looking up from our phones and talking to people again? I don't know the perfect answer, but I do think this is coming. And I think the people who are most vulnerable are the people who are lonely, recently divorced, widowed, grieving, isolated, or just tired of feeling invisible. Because when someone shows up and makes them feel seen, that can be very powerful. And if AI makes that person look real, sound real, feel real, then the danger becomes much harder to spot. So here's the message I want to leave you with today. We have learned a lot from romance scam stories on this channel. We have learned how the old playbook works, but AI is rewriting that playbook. And the next scam may not look sloppy. It's going to look very polished. It may not sound fake. It may sound warm. It may not feel like a scam. It may feel like the most emotionally available person that you've met in years. This is why we need boundaries. Not fear, boundaries. Not paranoia, boundaries. You can still date. You can still meet people. You can still believe in love, but do not let a stranger online become more trusted than your own family and your own friends. And most importantly, use your own common sense. And do not let a video replace reality, because in this new world, the most dangerous words may not be, "I need money." The most dangerous words may be, "Look, I'll prove it. Let's jump on a video." So I want to ask you, do you think AI could eventually destroy online dating as we know it today? Do you think it will push people back to meeting in person the way we did years ago? And do you still believe video calls prove that someone is real? Do me a favor, leave your thoughts and your comments below, because I think this is one of the biggest dating dangers people are not prepared for. And the more we talk about it, the harder it becomes for scammers to hide in the silence. So thank you for tuning in to Dating to Win. Again, I am Matt Russo, your host. And remember, we are not just dating, we are dating to win. And I'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for listening to Dating to Win. If you're serious about improving your dating game, don't miss an episode. Hit the subscribe button or go to youtube.com/datingtowin25. Good luck out there, and we'll see you on the next episode of Dating to Win.